After 20 years of marriage, my wife thought she could sneak around behind my back with some 25-year-old bartender she works with. What she didn't know? I knew everything from the start. Let me take you back to the beginning. Before the betrayal. Before I became the man silently watching his own wife destroy everything they built. Before I realized how easily someone you love can lie straight to your face. My name's David, born and raised in Auckland, New Zealand. I run a small but successful logistics company. Nothing glamorous, but it pays well, and it allowed my wife, Melissa, to focus on raising our kids and later get back into the workforce on her own terms. We met in high school. Classic small-town romance. She was the outgoing, radiant type that everyone gravitated toward. I was quieter, more grounded. But somehow we clicked. Fell in love fast. Married at 24. Had 2 kids by the time we were 30. We built a life rooted in commitment, routine, and what I thought was trust. Melissa was my best friend. We laughed at the same dumb shows, fought over what to get for dinner, held hands on walks through the park. It wasn't fireworks every day, but it was real. It was ours. But if you've ever been in a long marriage, you know, there's a rhythm to it, a comfortable, almost invisible routine. And when that rhythm changes, even slightly, you feel it. I first noticed the cracks about 6 months ago. She started taking longer to get ready for work, wearing perfume I hadn't smelled in years, buying new outfits that weren't her usual style, tighter, trendier. At first I thought, good for her. She had recently started a part-time job at a boutique wine bar, just to get out of the house, she said. She loved it, said it made her feel young again. And honestly, I was proud of her. I supported it. But then, things started to shift. She suddenly had work events on weekends. She was constantly texting, but the moment I walked into the room, her phone would vanish under a pillow or face down on the counter. She laughed at messages she never shared. She was smiling more. But not with me. And our bedroom? It had gone from warm and intimate to cold and mechanical. I'd ask her, "Is everything okay?" She'd smile and say, "Of course. Just tired." That's the thing about betrayal. It doesn't hit you all at once. It's a slow leak in a pipe behind the wall. Silent. Invisible. Until suddenly, everything floods. I wasn't looking for signs. But the signs were everywhere. She thought I was clueless. But what she didn't know was that I was already watching, and what I discovered would change everything. There's a difference between suspecting something and knowing. And once you cross that line, there's no going back. I had spent weeks brushing off the red flags, convincing myself it was all in my head, that maybe I was insecure, paranoid, that after 20 years of marriage, I should just trust her. But one Friday night, I stopped trusting my gut and started listening to it. She was asleep next to me, face relaxed, phone clutched in her hand like it was part of her body. I looked, and I didn't see the woman I married. I saw someone who was hiding something from me. I reached for her phone. It was now or never. And to my surprise, Face ID still worked. The screen unlocked, and instantly, a message popped up. "Can't wait to see you again. Same place this weekend?" The contact name? Zach. My blood turned cold. I opened the thread, and it was like stepping into a different universe, one where my wife wasn't a mother of 2, wasn't a loyal partner, wasn't mine. She was someone else. Photos, late-night messages, inside jokes, videos, all of it. She called him baby. He called her his cougar queen. They weren't just flirting, they were planning. Saturday night. Same hotel? I'll tell David it's a sales meeting again. Can't wait to feel you. And then it hit me. That weekend? She'd already told me she had an emergency sales meeting at work, something about a last-minute vendor partnership and a wine showcase. She had said it casually, without flinching, looked me in the eye and lied straight to my face. I didn't confront her. No yelling, no accusations. I just said, "Sounds important. Let me know if you need anything," because I had a better idea. I wasn't going to blow up. I wasn't going to rage. I was going to watch, quietly, patiently, while she buried herself. That week I went into silent operations mode. Ordered a mini GPS tracker and a high-quality voice recorder from a local supplier, the kind used for car fleet tracking and private investigations. 2 days before her sales meeting, I got up early, said I was going for a jog. Instead, I installed the tracker under the back seat of her car and placed the voice recorder just under the rear floor mat. I tested both. They worked like a charm. I could follow her in real time from my laptop and record anything happening inside the car. Then, I called my brother in Wellington and asked if the kids could spend the weekend at his place. Told him Melissa had a work thing and I needed to unplug. He said yes. No questions asked. Friday night, Melissa came home excited, dressed in a tight black dress, hair curled, nails done. Said she had to leave early in the morning for the big event. I smiled and said, "Okay, sweetheart, have a good one." Inside, my heart was silent. Saturday morning, I made coffee, watched her kiss the kids goodbye, watched her kiss me goodbye. "Love you," she said, casually. I nodded. She got into the car, started the engine, pulled out of the driveway. I turned to my laptop, opened the tracker dashboard, and what I saw next confirmed everything. I stared at the GPS tracker as the tiny blinking dot moved across my screen. Melissa's car was heading south, away from the city, away from the wine bar, and definitely not toward any sales meeting. She stopped briefly at a small seaside pub, the kind of place with rusty bar stools and dusty beer taps where no one asks questions. According to the voice recorder, she was meeting him there, Zach. I heard her laugh. He called her "my girl." They clinked glasses. She told him she booked room 9 at the seaside motel just down the road. I felt sick. This wasn't a fling. This was a planned rendezvous, a full-blown affair with a storyline and a strategy. But I didn't lose it. I didn't throw things or scream. I waited. 15 minutes later, the blinking GPS dot arrived at the seaside motel, a run-down, low-traffic building tucked behind some coastal trees. No security cameras, no front desk staff after noon. Perfect place for a secret. I drove there. Slowly, calmly. No music on, no windows down. My heart wasn't racing. It was waiting, like a sniper who knows the shot is coming. I parked 1 block away, walked the rest of the distance, and scoped the parking lot. Melissa's car was there. So was an old blue hatchback. 3 rooms had their lights on. I scanned the room numbers. Room 9's curtains were drawn tight, and just outside the window, Melissa's signature scarf was hanging from her side mirror. She always did that when she didn't want door dings. I walked up, knocked twice, waited. The door cracked open just an inch. A skinny guy in his 20s, pale, shirtless, anxious, peeked through. Yeah? I'm here to talk to my wife." "What? No one here by that name, man." "I'm not leaving. I'll stand right here all night if I have to." There was silence. He shut the door, muffled voices, scrambling sounds. Then the door creaked open again, and she stepped out. Melissa, my wife, still adjusting her shirt, lipstick smudged, hair messy in a way I'd never seen from a sales meeting. She looked at me like she'd seen a ghost. "David, what? What are you doing here?" "Just dropping by. Thought I'd say hi." This isn't what it looks like." I didn't scream, didn't accuse. I stared at her for a while and said, "Have fun." Then I turned around, walked back to my car, and left. She didn't expect that. She expected rage. She expected a fight. Instead, I gave her the one thing cheaters fear the most: silence. And silence hurts more than screaming ever could. As I drove away, I opened my laptop again, watched the GPS, Melissa left the motel just 6 minutes later, didn't even say goodbye to Zach, didn't even take the scarf off the mirror. She didn't go back to work. She didn't go home. She drove straight to her mother's house. That night, I poured myself a whiskey, sat on the back deck, stared into the dark. My phone buzzed around 11:42 p.m. It was her, crying, begging, rambling. I messed up. We married too young. I needed to feel like a woman again. It wasn't supposed to mean anything. Please, David, come talk to me. I didn't reply, because for the first time in 20 years I was the one in control. For 2 days, I didn't speak to her. No texts, no calls. I didn't even acknowledge the dozens of messages flooding in from Melissa. Everything from, please just talk to me, to, I made a mistake, to, it didn't mean anything. But the one that hit hardest? I miss you. I miss us. The same woman who kissed another man the same day she kissed our kids goodbye. Now wanted to remember us? It was too late for that. I wasn't sleeping, wasn't eating, just watching, tracking her GPS, reading every text she sent me like I was a detective at a crime scene, and in a way, I was. A 20-year-long love story had just been betrayed, and the betrayers were in my bed. Tuesday afternoon, I finally answered her call. She was still at her mom's house, voice cracking, asking me to pick her up. For the kids, she said. They miss me. I said I'd think about it. Then I hung up, but I already knew the answer. I wasn't going to let her back in. I was going to let her sit in it. Instead, I called my brother, picked up the kids, and acted like nothing happened. Made pancakes, played Uno, watched movies. I was smiling on the outside, but inside, I was already planning my escape. The next morning, Melissa showed up at our door. Her eyes were swollen. She looked 10 years older than she did 4 days ago. The kids ran to her, hugged her like it was Christmas. I stood in the kitchen, arms crossed, silent. She walked over slowly, trying to make eye contact. David, I know I messed up, but I don't want to throw away everything we've built. I didn't respond. She started unpacking groceries, cooking dinner, cleaning the house obsessively, like doing chores could erase infidelity. I slept in the guest room that night. She cried. In the master bedroom. Over the next few weeks, we lived like strangers under one roof. She tried everything. Therapy sessions, date night suggestions, buying me cologne, leaving notes on my pillow. But none of it touched me, because she wasn't doing it for love. She was doing it out of guilt, and guilt doesn't rebuild trust. You know what did help? Online. Dating, yeah. I said it. I joined a few apps. Nothing serious at first, just swiping to see what was out there. But then, I started meeting people, real conversations, real women. And more importantly, I started feeling wanted again. Melissa noticed. She saw the cologne, the new shirts, the late-night phone buzzes. She knew I wasn't lonely anymore, and that terrified her. One night, she cornered me in the hallway. Are you seeing someone? Why do you care? She broke down. On the floor, sobbing uncontrollably. I didn't comfort her, because for once she was feeling what I had felt, powerless, forgotten. After 2 months, she asked for a serious conversation. David, I want us to start over, please. Let's go to counseling. Let me prove I'm still the woman you married. But she wasn't. That woman died the moment she booked that motel room. Still, I had to think about the kids, and I realized something brutal. Forgiveness isn't about her. It's about freeing myself. So I agreed to one final thing. Marriage canceling. We drew up emotional boundaries, financial clarity, rules for rebuilding trust. And during that process, she changed, not into the woman I remembered, but into a woman desperate to be chosen again. She cooked every night, dressed up just to sit beside me on the couch, became experimental, willing, curious. She was fighting to get back what she had so carelessly thrown away. And me? I had finally found the upper hand. Forgiveness is funny. It doesn't always come with warmth. Sometimes it comes with control. Melissa thought coming back home meant we were starting over, that we were working on our marriage, healing. But I wasn't healing. I was rebuilding myself. Not us. For the first time in 20 years, I wasn't asking what she wanted. I wasn't living in her orbit. She was in mine. And she knew it. She started doing things she never did before, waking up early to make breakfast, buying lingerie I never asked for, saying yes to everything in the bedroom, even the things she used to roll her eyes at. She had become submissive, and not out of love, out of fear. She saw what I could be without her. She saw how easily I could attract other women. She saw what she'd thrown away, and now she was begging to hold even a piece of it again. David, are we okay? Do you still love me? Please, just tell me what to do. I never raised my voice, never guilted her. I just let her live in that limbo, and honestly, she started unraveling. One night she walked into the bedroom, wearing a silk robe, soft music playing, trying to be seductive. But I was already on my phone, messaging someone. She looked at me, and for the first time ever I saw it in her eyes. Jealousy, not fear, not regret. Jealousy. She had become the outsider now, and that's when I knew. I had all the power. She wasn't cheating anymore. She wasn't hiding messages or lying. She was waiting, hoping I'd look at her the way Zach once did, but I didn't. Not yet. We went to couples therapy, once. The therapist asked me, "Do you still want this marriage?" I said, "I don't know. I'm enjoying my options." Melissa burst into tears. That was the exact moment I felt it. The shift. The weight she used to have over me. Gone. Now I was the one deciding her fate, and she knew it. For weeks she tried harder. She even suggested things in the bedroom I never thought she'd do. She said, "I'll do anything to make you stay, and maybe that makes me cold." But I enjoyed watching her work for something she thought she could never lose. Eventually, I did something she never expected. I said, "Maybe we can try again. On my terms." Her face lit up, like a prisoner being told she could breathe fresh air again. I laid out the terms. Full transparency. No privacy on phones. No late nights without checking in. No social media thirst traps. Total loyalty. And I made it clear, if you ever even blink in the direction of another man again, I won't leave. I'll destroy you slowly, financially, emotionally, and the kids will know exactly why. She didn't argue. She didn't complain. She nodded. "Yes, David, anything." And you know what? She kept her word. Today, she's the most obedient, attentive, grateful version of herself I've ever seen. And me? I still talk to a few women online. Never crossed the line physically, but I don't need to. Just knowing I could keeps me powerful, and knowing she knows that, that's the real win. So, what do you think? Was I too soft, or did I play it perfectly? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Should I stay, or should I walk away for good? Smash that like button if you think karma did exactly what it was supposed to, and subscribe to Complicated Relationships. Thanks for watching, and remember, the best revenge is living better. Sometimes silence says more than screams ever could.